right, so as everybody knows, Halo Infinite is coming out, and with that, they have a lot of personal AI choices that you're going to be able to make. And each one has its own kind of unique look. And so, what we're going to do today and other days is we're going to design and 3D print those personal AIs so that you can use. Currently, there's only 4 personal AIs in the game so far that we learned through the tech preview. There will be more to come. But we're going to start off with the basics. Today, we're going to start with Fret, the triangle kind of cube looking one. We're going to make 3 sketches, including using a sweep, and we're going to make sure the eyes and mouth are there. You can make this any size you want, but we're going to make it, and you choose to do what you like with it. So let's go. Like we just said, we're going to make Fret today. It's a very triangle shape kind of look. It shouldn't be too hard for the basic 101s we followed in my previous tutorials, but we'll go from here. Again, it's very basic. Make sure you have Fusion 360 downloaded, free to use, personal license. That's my personal choice, and we'll go from there. So let's get started. Now that we're in Fusion 360, typical, new screen, we're on the top. We're going to start with the basic sketch. Now, you could import your image right now. I'm not going to yet because I know he's a square, and I want that square base in there. And this is where you want to know your size. And so we're going to start on the top. We're going to just make a basic square. Now, the trick is here is you want this line to be the front line. So I want mine to be 33 by 33. That's my choice. You can make it bigger, smaller. I've tried bigger, but it just didn't fit my needs. So I'm going to go a little bit smaller. And we're going to start with that. We're going to finish the sketch. What this is going to be is that's going to be our actual sweep later on the next sketch. So now we're going to rotate to the front. We're going to start a new sketch. Click that front panel. So now what we're going to do is we're going to insert our sketch here. We know how big I want mine. So we're going to insert canvas. Come over here, canvas. Go to wherever your file is. Already had a flat one ready to go. Click that very front panel. And now we're just going to size this with approximation value with the line that we have here. Again, mine's 33 millimeters. We're going to approximate it in there. Kind of top to bottom. It's going to be a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. I'm going to go just a skosh big. Center it to be kind of on the top line. Now, the biggest trick is you can see kind of some of his angles in here. And that's what we're going with. So you want to make sure you have a clear image. And okay there. Now I'm going to start with this baseline. And we're going to start in this corner. And since I know mine's 33 on a box, we're going to make sure that 16.5 to get in the middle. And we're just going to draw half his character. So again, we're going to do the next line. Straight up. And I'm going to get this, again, it's not going to be perfect, but looks like it's going to be about 29. I want whole numbers, so I'm going to go that way. So now we want to just basically design half of this. So you can go right or left. It's up to you. I already have a line halfway that way, so I'm not really going to worry about that. I'm actually going to remove that line. It's up to you. So now I'm going to go from the middle side. I'm going to line out. I'm going to see roughly about where this is. That's where the corner is. That's where we're going to get that extra corner that we saw in there. I'm going to just say that looks like about 13. Again, you can just click. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to make this line. Get about the angle we want. I'm just going to go 60 and kind of pull it up. And we're going to pull it up. So there's still a flat top here. So you're going to kind of want to go, if you just ping there and pull it back on your line, you can get to about whatever line. And you're just going to follow his body. So I think that looks roughly good right about there. We look at the angle, it says 119. So I'm just going to type in 120 there just to make sure that's standard. Go back to the top. Now, if you don't have this locking in, like I do right there, you can, since you have the locked in angle, you can go all the way up, click OK, and then just take the line from here over, and then we'll trim it off. No big deal. Hit finish sketch. Now with that, we're going to get the body. So we're going to turn off the canvas real quick. This is the body angle. And then we're just going to follow this all the way around the box. So this is where the sweep comes in. If you guys haven't used sweeps before, this is perfect for it. We're going to click the full body. Now you want to make sure you close that off, because if you didn't close it off, you can't sweep it. So we're going to click that. We're going to hit create. We're going to hit sweep. That's the profile. That's the plane we want. Select path. And we're going to do the box shape that you have. So whatever size you had in there. Hit that. And notice, boom. It went the full box all the way around. That's the path it went on. That's why we made that initial box. So any sweep that you're using, you can make it a line, a curved line, a snake line, whatever you want. We made a box. That makes the box. We're going to hit OK. And that gave us our body. We go back to our photo. Looks pretty good. You got your little angles in the corners. So now we just need to make sure that we have the eyes and the mouth. So we can do this one of two ways. I'm going to do it an extra added step just because I believe it's simpler, especially for beginners in Fusion 360. What we're going to do is we're going to go back to the front. And we're going to use this face. It doesn't matter which face because it's a square, basically. We're going to insert. We're going to insert that same picture that we had. Make sure that it's the flat one. Or select that face to make sure that's an angled face that we want. And again, we're going to go to the front view so we know where it's at. But this is literally angled with the angle of the front. That's the plane it shows. And so what we're going to do is kind of get a rough estimate. And we're just going to slide this guy kind of into where we think it's going to match. It might be slightly angled a little bit different, so we're just going to kind of balance it out. And again, we know the photo's not perfectly good in there, so this is just kind of meeting the eye that you want, where you want those eyes and mouth to be. So I'm going to click OK there. And what we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to turn off the sketch for a second, or the canvas for a second, and we're just going to create a new sketch. Same thing on top of this where the eyes are going to be. We're going to turn that back on. And again, I'm a big fan of mirroring, so anything that has eyeballs, nose, mouth, they're very symmetrical 90% of the time, especially say for a personal AI. So what we're going to do is going to make this symmetrical. We're going to go back, we're going to make a line, and we're going to go right in the middle of that. It should click because you're on this plane. We're going to go straight up. Actually, I don't even need to go all the way up there. I just need to make a line. So this is literally the middle of the circle, or of the face. So now we know these are rectangles, and it looks like they have kind of a little bit of curve. So I'm just going to kind of makeshift an eye here. So now I'm going to come in here and round the eyes because they look like they're a little bit around. And we're going to come in here and click each side to fillet it. Do this in the sketch function. All right. And let's try one. You can kind of play with it to see how round or how little you want it. I'm going to go with 0.75 looks good. And we're going to do the same thing with the mouth. The mouth's a little bit thinner. We're going to stick to the middle line. We're going to come out. And I'm just going to assume it looks a little more boxy. So we're just going to take that with what it is. I'm going to make that about 7.5 high. Click OK. And now since we have those two, we're going to go a nice little mirror function. We're going to select the mirror line. And we're going to select all the components that we want. I'm going to drag and click because I know everything's in there. And you can see everything that bounces in there. So now this will be 1, 2, 3, 4. We can get rid of our mirror line. If you choose to. And then I'm going to hit Finish Sketch. So we're going to turn off the canvas again. And so now we can see the face is drawn on there. Now we just need to extrude it. I'm just going to extrude it. We're going to kind of test a couple things. I'm going to extrude this about 1. And it's going to be very sharp, right? So that might be a little too far out there. Do 0.5. And again, this kind of depends on how big you made yours. Mine's 33 millimeters around and basically 29 millimeters tall. So if I protrude it out too far, it's going to look wonky. Say if yours is going to be a big spot, you can make the eyes bigger than mine. So I'm just going to start with 0.5 millimeter just because it's going to protrude out a little bit. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to round these back because we're going to 3D print this. So I don't want these sharp angles. So I'm going to hit fillet. And since I know it's 0.5 high, oh, that's way too small. We're just going to kind of finagle this around 0.3, 0.4. And what I'm looking for is to make this round enough that it's not an overhang when we're printing. And it just kind of depends on how you want it to look. If you want it a little more round, so his mouth is very round like that, you can do that. I think I'm just going to go 0.25. Has a little bit of structure, a little bit of curve. Nothing too crazy. We're going to do the same thing with the eyes. And since we have the eyes are the same, we're going to select them both at the same time. 0.75, not bad. 0.5. I'm going to try 0.3. Too boxy, so we're going to go 0.5. We're going to hit OK. And ladies and gentlemen, right then and there, we have our fret. We went from this image to that in less than 3 sketches. And with that, fret is done. Ready to 3D print. Use whatever program you're using. 3D print, ready to go. Next up for the AI portion will be Luma. We'll deal with revolving and things like that. So go ahead and check out the next tutorial. Thanks for watching.